So recently, SCS updated ATS and ETS2 to the 1.4 open beta. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that have changed in this update and what you can do to look into how to fix a truck that you enjoy or otherwise. Let's check it out. All right, so here's the truck we're going to be looking at. It has a good example of what we're talking about in particular for the first item. There's a new material for lighting, which can be used on trailers, trucks, whatever. We're going to show you that right now, as well as a couple of flares that you may not have seen before. So let's take a look at the flares first, because those are easy, right? So this is light_H_6. We're going to go over here and investigate the properties. And if you look down here, which I may need to move this up to move out of the way of my head, which I will do now, and I click on this here, you'll see it's flare.vehicle.orange L no FLR. Now what's that? What that means is there's no outward flare. So it shows the orange glow on the body of the truck and such, but it does not project into the night. So if you're further away from the truck, taking a picture or otherwise, it won't show you the flare dot. It will only show the light mask essentially as you slowly move away from it, like so, which is pretty cool. Cuts down on rendering and just resources of the game and such. So now let's look at this other material, and you'll notice there's an orange line that kind of goes around the section of the grill. Now what is that? Here's our normal light mask here. So here's where our light is. Now if I show you this here and go to positional, you'll see that this turns on and off with the positional function, which is normal. Now this doesn't do anything. However, it's a new material, and we'll go over here, and it's called diff.loom.add. And this is controlled, this is light decal. So we'll go over here to UV editing, and I can show you what that looks like here. It's a specific light decal that looks like this. So they've edited the mesh to fit over it, so you get that curvature that you see here. And what that does is it lights up with the positional light, so it looks like there's a light coming from here that projects onto this as well. And it's part of the color of the truck, which is pretty interesting. It's not actually its own light. So it uses the background color behind it of the hood. As you can see, the hood is still meshed there, but they've kind of made a transparent portion with this orange light around it, and that's all done with light masking, as I showed here. And you can see there's an alpha in the back. So if I go like this, it's just showing this glow from the main section. So this is a new thing that they're doing to enhance how things look without having the shine of the lights from the flare, like I was saying, on here. It's just going to have that glow, and then this part of it will glow in that extra way instead of having to use resources to produce the flare. So that's the first example of the things that they are doing here. One of the next things they're doing is they've added a bunch of different files inside of some of the flare locations. So I'm going to show you what I have for here. So before, it used to be, in this case, this is Project 3XX, so it would be unit, hookup, and then all your flares would be here. But now they're under vehicle flare. So these are my additionals that I've added in there. Now, why did I have to move mine? Well, if you go into the base, and you go to unit, hookup, vehicle, flare, and everything looks similar, normal. Well, now you have the SUI files. Now this is pretty interesting because as you kind of notice this, you'll see that there's spot beacons flashing orange, flashing blue, flashing red. What the bulb type is it an LED or is it an incandescent? So these are all values with how much the state change is. Now, right now, they don't have this system in place as such, but there's going to be a state change. So that way you'll be able to have that cool glow on your old trucks of like the blinkers going on and off, without having it be like the instantaneous one. So if you look at the LED, it's the same. But again, that's something that they're still working on doing. You can look into the vehicle spot beacon flashing orange. That gives all this information. It's already got the code for what type of flashing orange it is, the type of setup kind of flashing it does. Is it an LED flash? Is it a incandescent, like rotating? As you can see now down here, it says rotating orange. So these are all different. Blinker orange. Now, what does this mean for your flares? Well, your flares are going to look all screwy if you have custom ones, because these all reference that. They have an @include these things. Now, the side marker orange, that's also another thing that is in the SIF files. You'll notice if I go down to here, vehicle spot, flash orange wide. There are a ton of different marker orange, a ton of different files that all do different things in the background. It's saying, it's showing lamp luminosity. So in this case, they've done some math and cut the ratios of things to make them look a specific way so they're not as bright. So all very, very cool stuff they're doing in the background to get the lighting to the advancement of the DX11 and stuff like that. So that's really super cool. So in order to fix your flares, you're going to have to find these references. You're also going to have to move your hookup information, because if you don't do that, it's going to try to reference these files which are not in the same folder structure that you were used to before. Remember, it was your flares used to be in here. So it's going to try to call that information from in here, but those files are not there when you have that include, right? So if you have that include, for example, right here, this has an include vehicle bulb type incandescent. This assumes that it is in the same directory as this file that you have right here. So if you have not changed if your flares are still here in hookup, they're not going to work properly. So you need to put all your new flares into this folder here, into unit hookup vehicle flare. Very important to get all these things working. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the headlights. Now, headlights have changed. What we're going to show you here is the old headlight SII file, which is in the truck's definitions. Pretty standard stuff here. I believe I just copied it from the 389. as that's what I imported into the game initially to get the collisions correct and all those things. So I just kind of used all that 389 stuff to make everything work. Now, if you look over here, now these, first of all, they cost money, which is interesting. Second of all, there's this at halogen at. What that means is it uses the translation in the game to whatever halogen is in French or Italian or any of those things as well. Now, if you look at the different, there's a lot of extra stuff here. Look at this low beam section right here is 13 to 26, and this low beam section over here was only 13 to 20. So there's 6 extra lines now, and that's not even counting those files, I don't believe. Yeah, those files aren't even in there. They're down here. So there's 8 more items in this. That's how involved the lighting is now. So you want to make sure you change your headlights. You're going to get a warning. It's not going to crash your game, but you are going to get a warning that it's got old information in there, and they're not going to look quite right either. So you want to make sure that you do change those things. And again, because it's a light, it's going to change. So make sure you check out those headlights. As you can see, this 1.4 beta is pretty intense, and they've done quite a lot to get the lighting working just so. The environment looks incredible, and I'm really looking forward to the polished product, though I don't think it'll be for a couple of updates at this point. They've made a lot of changes in the background that they're going to need to, work with, and things are probably going to be a rolling change. They're going to be tweaking a lot of things for quite a while with this, so you're just going to have to bear with them on that. But right off the bat, it's a great improvement, so really looking forward to the finished product. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know by leaving a like, and consider subscribing for more information about the betas that SCS does, as well as a lot of other information that SCS puts out or doesn't put out, and me modding some vehicles and trucks, and how to handle all the updates that come into the games. If you're a modder like myself, I try to go through and get that information out to you as soon as I can. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.